those of you who have at some point been on a dating app, have you, any of you never met a guy in person from a dating app?
Like never met?
Yeah, never met up in person.
I've never, no.
But you've had a dating app, but you've never met up with anybody.
Yeah.
What about you?
I've met up with only one out of like however long I was on it, because I don't trust men.
You don't trust men?
Like, you really have to convince me, and out of all the guys, I guess one did.
The guy has to convince you.
Yeah.
To meet up.
Yeah, if they're.
How did he convince you?
He's 5'9".
Just like trustworthy.
How many months was he talking to you before you finally met up with him? That might be an exaggeration, but
It was like a week of like talking, and then he was like, "Let's hang out," and I was like, "Do I?" And then I literally told him, "Convince me," and then he convinced me. Yeah.
you told him, "Convince me."
Yeah.
And what was his response when you said, "Convince me"? Was he like, "F you," or was he like, "No, here's all my good"?
No, he was really sweet. Like, it wasn't like a scary thing. Like, he was a sweet guy, responsible, nice, just overall really great guy.
I want to ask the table this. If you were talking to a guy and he said, "Convince me to date you," what would your response be to that?
I wouldn't even respond. Maybe like a laughing emoji.
What would you think of him if he said that?
I think he's out of his fucking mind. So I'm not, like, for a guy to do it?
Yeah.
No, you're out of your mind.
It's like, we're the prize here.
Yeah.
not
Women are
you.
the prize.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that?
I don't know. You just have to like really make yourself worthy enough for me to talk to you and like spend my like give you my attention. And if you're not
Sure.
worthy enough, then on to the next.
I'm going to come back to that really quick, but I want to
Okay.
just go around the
Yeah.
table on my question. So what would your response be if a guy said, you're talking to him, you know, you're both kind of interested in each other, but he says, "Convince me to meet up with you," or "Convince me to date you"?
I would do the same, and I would just not respond.
Not respond as well.
I would not respond. LOL.
I wouldn't respond.
Not respond.
Okay, there you go. There you go. So
I also do have to say it was mostly a joke. Like, convince me is just kind of me being like sarcastic and funny and like, oh, convince me and maybe I'll go. You know? And then it's like,
you sure about that?
I mean,
It was a joke?
usually a lot of things I say is like nothing I say serious with men sometimes. So I'm like,
Or are you walking it back now that all the girls at the table said they'd
no,
clown on
no,
a guy for doing that
that's just
same
like
exact
my
thing?
personality. I'm very sarcastic.
Sure. So
and
you're
then
okay.
they
That's
actually,
fine.
Like, and then they actually like give me the energy I like wanted. I guess like they go along with the jokes, you know, and then that's when it's like, oh, cool.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you're the prize.
I don't know.
Why?
You know, my mom always told me to like go for a guy who really respects you and just. Okay, next question. Sorry.
Okay. So, but you said so. What? I guess since you're the prize, what?
See, that was like mostly a joke again. Like I'm just nothing I say is serious. I don't know.
Okay, fair enough. I do want to open this up to the rest of the panel, though. When it comes to relationships, interacting with men, who do you consider to be the prize? If you even view it in that way. Go ahead.
I don't view either of us to be a prize.
Scoot the microphone that way towards you, just perfect.
That way?
Yeah, perfect.
You good?
Go for it.
No, I don't view either of us to be a prize, especially being like bisexual, dating women and
Oh, you're bi.
men. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like, I don't know.
Let me ask you a question on that. Is anyone else here bisexual? Just you two? Okay. So just a real quick question on that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you prefer dating men or women? Or dealing with men or women?
Woman.
Okay. And what
Yeah.
about you?
Woman.
And really quick, just why?
Well, like nowadays, especially about 60 to 70% of men are, I'll say 50, I'll make it even lower for you guys, of men are incels. And you just gotta wait.
50% of men
Yeah.
are
Especially in this-
involuntary celibate.
Yeah. So they're just,
I don't know if the
they're
numbers
just
are
hard
that
to deal
high.
with. Like they're just so hard to deal with. I've never really connected as deeply with a man as I have a woman before.
Sure.
I don't know if it's the men I'm seeking out, probably. But yeah, overall easier to deal with women than men in my experience.
Okay. And what about for you?
Actually, to go back on that, equally, I like both because they both have their issues, you know, men and women. So you get what you get, you know, like you just have to go through and find a good woman or a man. So
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Just really quick on that too. When y'all go on a date with a woman, who pays for you two?
When I on a date with a woman?
Yeah, who pays?
It depends. Is this like a first date, like first
Sure,
meeting?
sure.
First date, I've never paid for a first date, no.
How many of the women you've dated that you've had first dates with, like how many first dates with
women?
women would you say you've had?
Like probably 5.
5? And you've
Yeah.
never paid
No.
on any of those?
No.
So they always asked you out?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
that's because.
where did you meet them?
San Francisco, my hometown.
Okay.
I've dated one girl from out here.
I
but
see. Okay.
Yeah, I feel like it's usually they're asking me out on dates. So whoever's asking out on the date is paying for the date. I'm not paying for something if you asked me to join you.
Okay, we'll talk about that later. So I want to bring it back to the prize thing. So did you get to answer that? So how do you view the prize? Who's the prize dynamic?
I feel like it should be equal.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't think there is one at all. It's just we both bring things to the table, so there's not who's more worthier and stuff.
I also agree with her on that.
I think it kind of depends like what you're going into it for. Like if you're like looking for a hookup, like I guess like both parties are a prize because it's like you want the same thing, or I guess the hookup is the prize. But like in terms of relationship, I don't think there's like exactly like this is like she's a prize, whatever. I mean, like guys will be like, oh, like she's a dime, she's a prize, whatever, which is like nice. But I don't think it's like an actual thing like people think about.
Yeah, I think it's an entirely mutual decision. Like if you're both interested in each other, you both want to pursue each other. And then sometimes it happens in situations when one person is more interested in the other. But we can see across cultures how some are more male dominated. So maybe the more Eastern cultures, it's still viewed that way. I don't agree with it, but it's just how it is. And in more Western cultures, we've shifted to a more equal perspective, which I think I'm more on board with.
I'm same as her, like equal.